Welcome back, Saints. I'm Sophie DeRoy, and this is SFHS Today. We haven't seen you since spring break. Thank you for tuning in today. In national news, the first presidential debate was held on Tuesday of last week. During the debate, we saw Trump and Biden go head-to-head on some important issues, such as healthcare, the spread of coronavirus, and the economy. Also last week on Wednesday, President Trump was on the campaign trail. Trump visited Duluth, Minnesota for a rally at the Duluth International Airport. Trump hopes that after narrowly losing the traditionally Democratic state back in 2016, he will be able to gain some more votes and win Minnesota. Reporter Maddie Little has an inside look on the Trump rally.
So where are you today and what brings you here?
We're here to support Trump.
We're here in Duluth, Minnesota right now at the Trump rally. How do you feel about this?
I'm feeling fantastic, my friend. Get to see Donald Trump, get to hear about the post-debate. I am excited.
How do you feel?
You know, it is a little chilly out here, and I am hungry, but I am here to support the man.
We get let in the door in 30 minutes. How are you feeling?
I'm a little tired. Trying to keep my energy up for Trump, but just waiting for those gates to open.
Why did you want to leave the rally before President Trump even got there?
Well, as you can see, I'm still pretty cold from the outing. I was really pumped to see him, but it wasn't worth it. My feet were about to get fallen off, and I'm definitely going to go to Wisconsin though and see him.
USA!
Even though we didn't get into the rally to actually hear what President Donald Trump had to say, it was still a fun experience waiting in line, seeing all the protesters, and hearing what everyone else had to say.
This week, many students at SF will be taking their ACT on Tuesday, October 6th, after the 2020 spring ACT was canceled as a result of the coronavirus. Also in school news, construction has continued to move forward in many new areas of the school. The music rooms have seen a big upgrade this summer, and we have reporters Ryan Loons and Jacob Tatley here to tell us about it.
So how do you like the new choir rooms?
The new spaces are very great. It's always nice to be in a new area. I'm especially excited about the Flex Room, which is a brand new actual classroom space that we get to use for overflow. We'll eventually get to use it for indoor show choir rehearsals. It's nice to have new risers, a set of risers. On top of the floor, we used to have steps built into the floor, and that was really kind of a safety concern and also hard to fit as many people as we have in choir into the same room at once. So it's nice to have a flat floor and risers on top so we can adjust them.
Okay. How do you like the new choir rooms?
The new spaces are pretty nice, actually. It's fun to be in new spaces and to be in designated spaces for our groups. There's some really good things about the choir room specifically, and this is our Flex Room. They're now handicap accessible, so we can have wheelchair access, which we weren't able to have before really appropriately, and so that's really great for us.
How do you feel about the new choir space?
I think it's a very nice space compared to the old room. I feel like there's a lot more room in it, but I kind of miss the levels like the old one had. However, I think for sound purposes, it'll be a lot better to be on a flat surface.
To wrap things up today, we have our weekly RQT with reporters Cassie Tope and Abby Ferrario on what some of our community's pet peeves are.
It's the random question thing, ding.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is usually when people chew with their mouths open, because in my philosophy, they tend to be the rudest people that I meet.
Loud chewing and chewing with mouth open.
My biggest pet peeve is when people leave their garbage in my truck.
Like when I go to Starbucks and I get a double shot of ice, and I get it in a special case really bad because they let it sit for a while, and when you let it sit, it tastes bad.
My biggest pet peeve has got to be when I'm accused for something I didn't do.
Pet peeve is definitely when people interrupt you while you're telling a story or talking and stuff.
My biggest pet peeve is when somebody puts their gum on the edge of their plate.
My biggest pet peeve is when people slam on the brakes when I'm driving.
My biggest pet peeve is probably dishonesty.
My biggest pet peeve is when people have really bad grammar. Someone who's too stiff.
I don't like people who are too overdramatic.
Is when people chomp their gum because it's really annoying.
Someone that interrupts me when I'm talking.
Now over to Jared Hayter with sports.
Thanks, Sophie. Coronavirus has changed a lot in our lives in the past 6 months. One of the things that has changed is the way we play and watch sports. Reporters Jaden and Avery have put together some interviews for an inside look at our athletes and coaches.
How do you feel about the new season?
I'm excited about the restart of football. I know our players are, our families are, our community's excited, fellow coaches are excited. We just want to get going, and we're a little bit behind schedule in a lot of ways with the delayed start, but everybody's going to be, and we're looking forward to our first game next week.
I'm looking forward to the new coach and just practicing with her and getting to know her better.
This season, I think we're trying to achieve all the things we would on a regular season, albeit in a little bit different format. We're playing a few less games. We have a few less weeks to prepare, but we just want to go out and compete every week, starting with our week 1 opponent up in Alexandria.
Do you think you guys will win the first game?
I think we have a challenging week 1 opponent. I know they have a lot of experience and athleticism coming back. I know we get to play in a really nice new stadium, both our JV and varsity. I think it's going to be a competitive game, and we're looking forward to it.
So it's a lot different in some ways, where we're supposed to be socially distanced and wear a mask all the time. And, we never really had many spectators at our games, so that's not much different for us. But, yeah, it feels the same when you're playing the game. It's not that much different. It's just, off the field. So everyone feels pretty similar. It's just those little things that are different.
Are there any teams you are hoping to beat?
Probably Cambridge, because they're our rivals at everything.
We have a lot of returning seniors. About half our team is returning seniors, and there's been a lot of younger players that have stepped up, and it's a good vibe again. It feels kind of like the last run in a way. And now that we've heard we're going to have sections almost like normal, so we can maybe make another run at state.
This season, I think one of our goals is just to have a winning record.
I know it's a little bit different with practicing social distancing, coaches wearing masks, players that aren't participating actively wearing masks, but it's good to be back outside playing a sport that us coaches really enjoy being a part of, and I know the players enjoy it as well.
One unintended side effect of the lost revenue through concession sales. Reporter Brody Wine spoke with Scott Schmidt about the issue.
How is COVID affecting concessions for all sports?
Well, the thing is that when they decided at first to not have volleyball and football, that made it obviously we couldn't sell concessions at all because they weren't even going to have the games. And soccer, there was only going to be a handful of home games anyway, and the restrictions and regulations for serving any kind of food during this COVID time it just made it unfeasible to do that. Now that they're going to start up football and volleyball again, volleyball is not going to have any fans allowed, so there won't be any concessions sold there. Football, I'm not quite exactly sure what's going to happen. There may be a limited amount of that, but football kind of does their own thing for concessions. So the biggest impact is that a lot of the sports teams and the extracurricular activities use the concessions as a fundraiser. If basically I schedule them to work different events throughout the sports seasons, and then they get money for doing that. And because there's been no fall seasons really that we can sell concessions, that's gonna take a big hit into some of the fundraising that some of those teams do. So I guess we're just gonna wait and see what happens in the winter, because even if they do have basketball games, we don't know if there's going to be any fans. So it's just kind of a wait and see right now.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check out our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook account, and our website, thesfhscrier.com, for more news. That's all we have for this week. Stay safe, Saints.